just going to go ahead and call to order this meeting of the Greenfield Conservation Commission at 6:33 p.m. on November 23rd, 2021. All commission members are present except for Rachel, who, as I said, let me know that she was not going to be here. Just to note that this meeting is being held virtually, and should any technical interruption to the meeting occur and the meeting suddenly ends, it will not be resumed and all items will be automatically continued on the next scheduled meeting date, which will be 2 weeks from now. Also, this meeting is being recorded, and if anyone else is recording the meeting, you are required to let me know at this time. I do not hear anyone else recording. If anyone does start recording, let me know when that happens. All right, so the first item on the agenda is approval of meeting minutes, November 9th, 2021.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Erica, seconded by Fletcher. Any further discussion on those minutes? I know I read through it and it seemed very thorough and I didn't find anything. I didn't find anything wrong.
That's fun.
Okay, well, hearing no further discussion, we can vote on approval of the minutes. Just because I can't see everyone, I'm gonna do a roll call vote. So I'll just go in order of what's on our webpage. So Fletcher.
Yes.
Erica.
Yes.
Kristen.
Yes.
And I am also a yes, and Rachel is not here, so that motion passes 4 votes to 0. Now, next on the agenda is our public meeting continued from November 9th. Request for determination of applicability, installation of septic system, and removal of 10 trees at 193 Barton Road, map R19, lot 6. You guys could introduce yourselves. And
I'm Nathan Santerre from 193 Barton Road.
Okay.
And I'm Troy, Nathan's brother.
All right. And it looks like we got a revised plan on November 15th. So I can bring that up. Oh man. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was trying to bring it up and it was very blurry and I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Okay. So, can you just give us a quick update on what's been changed on this plan?
Sure. So at the last meeting, there was 3 things that were requested. The first was we were unsure if it was a 3-bedroom house, but we noticed on the plans it says it's a 3-bedroom. The town of Greenfield on their property card lists as a 3-bedroom. So we determined it's definitely a 3-bedroom house with a 3-bedroom system. So we're not upgrading a 2 to a 3 like we did last weekend. We had thought maybe had been the case. So it's a 3 to a 3. The second one was we wanted to add a 25-foot line from the from the east side of the house, the wetlands buffer, and also a 200-foot line from the east side of the house, showing the 200-foot water, the river line.
Mhm. And if I can, I'll try to annotate. It looks like this is the 25 foot. I'm using a trackpad, so this is very difficult. I think that's the 25 foot. Uh, so that would be our 25-foot no disturb zone in the Greenfield ordinance. And that line actually continues around here for the wetlands to the west. And then where is the 200 foot riverfront line is here. So essentially the entire project is in the 200 foot riverfront area, which I believe is what we were assuming last time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that would matter if you were upgrading from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom. That would be important. But since it's a 3 to a 3, then that is essentially that's exempt from the riverfront requirements. Can all the commissioners see this, or do they have any questions? Oh,
Yep.
hold on. Okay, hold on. Erica just joined. I'm not sure.
Yes. I'm almost getting there.
Okay.
To Erica, I've got internet.
Okay.
I'm going to try to join on my computer in a second.
Sorry for the technical problems here. All right, and so it looks like, oh, if I scroll, that line doesn't move. I don't, can you see, hold on, I'm gonna draw. Unfortunately, this plan doesn't have the trees marked, I think, that are gonna be removed, or are those the ones that are numbered?
Oh, that was correct. The last plan that were marked, this plan, it stuck by me. I didn't mark these ones on it.
Okay, that's fine. Is this,
marked.
I was just going to ask, nothing's changed as far as that goes? The same trees?
Correct. Nothing's changed. Yeah.
is this 15-inch cherry tree that I circled? Is that one being removed?
Yes. Yeah. That's the one that doesn't come into play with the septic system, but that leans over the house.
Okay. So it looks like that's the only thing inside that 25 foot. Are any of them to the left of this 25 foot buffer or the 25 foot no disturb zone being removed?
No,
So none in this area.
none in that area. Correct.
Okay. So it's just the one in the 25 foot.
Yes.
I'm scrolling down and it doesn't move the line.
So was it just the pine that's over the septic that you guys are going to grind the stump for? Or were there a few of them?
I was going to grind the one in the septic. I was going to grind the two below it. I was, the two below the leach field. I was going to also not grind. I'll fully remove them so they could move soil for the septic system install.
Okay.
The rest we're just going to leave the stumps in place.
Got it. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking and I didn't realize I was muted. Uh, uh, is this the only new document that was submitted to us since the
I
last
believe
meeting?
so.
Okay, I thought it was, but I just wanted to check.
Yep.
Okay, Kristen is now signing in. Hopefully this will show up for her.
Travis, can you zoom in just a
Sorry.
little bit more on the? Sorry.
Somebody was echoing there.
We were talking over each other. Can you zoom in just a little bit more toward just where like the leach field and the septic system?
Yeah, let me I'm gonna remove this annotation because it's not gonna move when I do that.
Can you all just tell us a little bit more about the tree removal itself, if that's known at this time? Just kind of like the procedure that you guys expect as far as the equipment goes. And
We're gonna probably bring a crane in, I'm guessing, and because all the trees, they're so long they would fall on the neighbor's property, and he made it quite clear he doesn't want his property disturbed. So all the trees have to be cut from the top down. Nothing can be cut and dropped and hurt any other trees. So either crane or possibly a climber will go up to the top and limit on this way down.
got it. And is there? I haven't had a chance to look at a overhead image, but is there like you just kind of take it up on the lawn? Is it just lawn back there, or?
It might have been lawn, but it's all been it overgrew a couple of years ago, it looks like, and then the last owner back in April had kind of cleared a bunch of it, so it's a lot of debris and brush now.
Got it.
It will be lawn again, but it had some years of neglect.
Mm-hmm. But there's a clear path to take it back there without sort of.
Oh yeah, there's no tree. Yeah, the only
zones
trees
or-
list of the ones you see. It's nothing back there. Yeah, just a couple trees.
And just to clarify that, it seems that you would not need to be driving any equipment through like the 25-foot no disturb zone, correct?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have to go anywhere near that. Correct.
Okay.
We'll drive to the driveway, which is inside it, but
Well, yeah.
Besides that, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Erica, is this a good Zoom?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Can you remind us what the sediment and erosion controls are going to consist of again?
I think we're just putting it out the silt fences, as seen on the map. We're just going to copy what the engineer had asked us to do.
How would you all describe the risk of erosion? I guess outside of the septic work itself, maybe, which I'm guessing you control, but just maybe with the tree removal and equipment moving, you feel like the ground is fairly, has decent integrity, or do you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's pretty flat there too. It's not flat, but there's no big hills or anything for it to, the rainwater to collect and come crashing down and create erosion. So nope, it's with the trees removed, there should be no ill effect on it.
Okay.
I'm trying to load our we have a folder for this project on a Google Drive, and it's just spinning right now. So I was just going to double check to make sure there wasn't anything else we needed to look at in there.
I wasn't here, but I saw there was either a request or just a thought that Ward Smith might write a letter talking about impact of the work or something. And did that?
So with Ward Smith, the request there was we're going to have, at the time, I wasn't familiar if it was a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom house. So we're going to write to him and say, is it a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom system? But
I see.
looking into it, we figured it all out.
Upgrade.
Didn't need to ask him.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Do you guys be amenable to using a straw wattle as erosion control as well? I feel like the silt fence maybe, I don't know. I mean, they're not really designed to hold back.
Got to do some amazing burying and
Yeah.
reinforcing of that bottom piece. Or
We could, but there should be nothing. I don't think there'll be anything needing to hold back on this site. The way the terrain is, it shouldn't be any more water coming down in any direction. Did you guys get a chance to walk it, or I couldn't remember?
Travis, are you still having trouble getting the photos?
All right.
I was going to
The
load.
town planner did get a chance. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
They asked about walking it, and I personally didn't, but I know Eric did, and we have a good set of photos
All right.
that we can probably bring up in a moment here. I think that's what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just was going to open this, the property card that shows that it says 3 bedrooms. This was something else we had in our files. All right, yeah, I can bring up some. I remember there were a lot of photos we looked at last time, and a lot of them it's a little hard to see. I believe, is this looking east towards that stream and the wetland?
So you're pretty much standing on the old and new septic tank right here, looking east towards the river or towards that stream.
I agree. It seems pretty unlikely that any loose material would migrate into a resource area, but that middle tree is in the 25-foot, correct? So
that one tree is, yep. That's the one that's on the very edge, yes.
And I think that one there, I don't think on the plan, hold on, sorry, I'll go back to the plan. I don't think on that plan there was, on that tree, there was actually any erosion control planned. It seems the erosion control is mainly around the septic digging area. And then this 15-inch cherry tree is within that, in the 25-foot no disturb zone. And is that one you were also planning on removing all the stumps entirely, or would you?
That was a plan. It's kind of in the driveway. In the past, he's always parked cars all around it, so it'd be nice to have the stump removed, so easier for snow plowing.
Let me go back. Let me go back to the photos. I'm sure there's a photo of it in here somewhere. Because I think, you know, generally we try to keep as many trees within the 25-foot no disturb zone as possible. Or oh, hmm.
So that's the cherry.
Mhm.
Did you say there's a bit of a pitch down towards the stream from there, or fairly flat?
From that tree, it's probably about maybe 15 to 20 feet away before it drops down.
Mhm.
But around the tree is all level.
These look like
It's like a
these 1 foot contour lines.
it's like a be a 5-foot drop or 3-foot.
While there is loose earth, would you be amenable to using straw wattles?
I'm unfamiliar with that. Is that the straw hay bales that you line up, or?
No, these come in like pallets, or you can even buy them. There's a place in Greenfield where you can just buy, I think they come in 6 inches or 12 inches or 18 inches in diameter, and they're just straw wattles, and they come with like plastic netting or biodegradable netting, and you can buy the roll, and you stake them down every 5 feet on center with these little short wooden stakes. And I don't know the cost of them, but they're not as expensive as silt fence.
Yeah, no, we can definitely do those. Yep. No, I know what you're talking about now. Yes. Yeah, those things. Yeah, we can definitely throw those in. Yeah.
Just for rain events, I mean, just to protect the 25-foot, which is protected under our bylaw.
Just want to add, this isn't an endorsement of any one product. This is just the first thing I found when I Googled. I think one thing I'm wondering is, I know you I know you want to take down the 15-inch cherry tree entirely. Um, I guess I'm just wondering if you'd be willing to leave any portion of that. Um, I mean, it's it's kind of hard because it's in our 25-foot no disturb zone. So
I can send a
typically,
better photo of it to you guys. I meant to include that this week, but I forgot. I do have a better photo I can show you.
okay.
Showing it with the house. Can I email that to you, or?
Yeah, I mean, you might be able, if you have it on the computer you're on, you could
It's
probably just
not.
share it.
I could get it, but it'd probably take me a while to figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to email it, I could just bring it up.
All right.
I guess what I was gonna say is that a lot, in the past when people have trees in the 25-foot no disturb zone that are like hazardous to their house, usually we ask people to leave, like 8-foot, 10-foot stump or something for wildlife purposes. Enough that it's not actually going to fall on your house, but that maybe some, birds could use it or things like that.
Okay. Let's see.
Do you still have my email address from the last?
Is it still in the chat, or those chats get?
I think it's a different chat now, so
All right.
I could.
I'm thinking there would be a decent bit of crater in there once that's removed, given the root system. If you did really grind out that stump, but
We could definitely cut that one flat to the ground and leave it in place, but
just
like
flush.
flat so
Okay.
no one drives over and hurts their car. Let's see.
Got it.
All right, I sent you my email address in the chat again.
All right, it's sending now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. So in that last photo, Travis, that we have from the site visit, it looks like there's cars parked. Is that cherry tree kind of a boundary marker so that you know where to stop your parking?
Let's see. Not really. Beside the cherry tree, there was right before we bought it, the guy had a large portable shed, the post and beam ones with the plastic around it. That it's parked there for years. I don't have a photo that would show where that is and how it's more of a driveway, but let's see. And I sent one more photo that shows a little bit better for the cherry tree. So I got 2 photos of that I just sent your way.
Okay, yep. I'm gonna add those to our drive and then open them up. Okay, so here's one photo.
That there just shows kind of the site, what it looks like from behind.
Okay, and this is where the septic, this is
Yeah.
where the digging is going to be for the
Yeah,
septic.
correct.
Okay.
And that's the cherry we're talking about.
There's a good lean to it.
Mhm.
That is a huge cherry, though.
Do you know, I mean, I could look on the plan again, but do you know how far that tree is from the house?
Top of my head, no. Not without look at the plan.
Like just over 20 feet from the plan, but
Hmm.
just eyeballing.
I'm wondering what the other commissioners are thinking about with that tree. Like I said, usually if trees are in the no disturb zone, we like to leave a stump. But I mean, I will say this one a little different from other ones, whereas this one is kind of like out in a yard/driveway. So I don't know.
I know what you're saying. I mean, we can't really set a precedent. But that is leaning. It is, let's say, 20 feet leaning towards the house.
And that's
I'd
that was
love
the
to see a stump, but
that was the reason for removal, was the lean, as opposed to just moving it for parking, or
No, just because of lean and because it's leaning over the house.
Right.
All our insurance companies in the past always demand all limbs and trees be removed that overhang the house.
Mhm.
We're waiting for any day to get a phone, get the email saying get rid of the tree or they're going to cancel your policy. They haven't done it yet, but it happens every time, it seems, the new policies.
I guess that's the question. Do you guys have any, how would you feel about leaving some trunk there, or I guess at that point it's more of an aesthetic thing, and you said it was influencing parking as well, but I'm just curious if that's particularly undesirable to you, or if it's something that you just thought, well, we don't really care, that's fine as long as we can take it down so it doesn't crash on the house.
Yeah, as long as it comes down, ideally disappear. Just I don't want. We might rent this out. I'd hate to see a tenant, back into it. It'd be kind of, but we could, I guess, paint it or put something around it if they can see it better. But as long as it's not too high where it could fall in 10 years on someone's car.
Right.
I have to say I kind of like that it would be there because it's sort of a boundary to stay out of the 25-foot buffer.
Yeah, I could definitely see, maybe not under your watch, but at some point, the parking slowly creeping towards the resource area there.
Yeah, right now they have it go right to pretty much the edge of where the hill drops down. They've made full use of it over the years, right to the edge. Yeah, I don't know if that's allowed or not, but that's what it's been doing.
I'm working on bringing up the exact wording of our 25-foot no disturb zone ordinance. So I can.
Travis, can you remind us what 10.586 is? Is that riverfront area? I can't remember.
10.586. I would assume so. Activities currently exempt from the environment. Yeah, I can look that up. Yeah, so
I was gonna say I could do that if you're pulling up other materials.
Yeah, sure. You can bring that up. I didn't say this at the beginning of the meeting, but Eric's not here again, so I'm running the meeting, running Webex and running the meeting. So yeah, basically it says for activities within the jurisdiction, a minimum of 25-foot no disturb zone shall be maintained or provided between resource areas and all altered areas. The commission shall create a wider no disturb zone when deemed necessary to protect the resource area because of the environmental quality or the hydrology of the resource area. Following are not subject to a resource or to a no disturb zone. Utility rights of way, emergency activities, any work with limited project status, and activities currently exempted from the requirements for riverfront area.
And that's basically the grandfathered clause, which is basically development prior to 1996.
Yeah, I think going along with what Kristen said earlier, to me it seems like it's a good thing having that stump there because you really don't want parking area to be creeping into the 25-foot no disturb zone since in altered areas are supposed to stay outside the 25-foot no disturb zone. So I guess I'm wondering, a lot of times we have people keep stumps that are like 8 or 10 feet tall, and I can understand how you might not want that falling on someone's car. But maybe if it was like just tall enough that someone's not going to park there, like 2 feet tall or 3 feet tall, like just enough that it prevents people from parking in the 25-foot no disturb zone.
Yeah, if you want us to leave it, we can leave it. Yeah, ideally probably at least 6 feet. That way it's hopefully seen a little better. So
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be able to drive over it and get stuck on it. Okay, so just to summarize what we've talked about so far, I think we said adding a straw wattle for erosion control, and leaving. Do you want to say 6 foot? Is that for the cherry tree?
I'm okay with that if you guys are. Yeah.
Okay.
In the straddle, does that replace the silt fence or does that add to the silt fence?
I'm gonna ask Kristen. I think that was her suggestion.
I just don't like silt fence by itself. I feel like that's not really how it's designed to function as erosion control. So that's why I suggested the wattle. I would think if you wanted to do something like a Filtrex sock, which is basically a compost filter tube, that would be fine instead of silt fence. But
Okay.
straw wattle, maybe if it were a 12-inch wattle, I could pass that sniff test. I don't know what the rest of the commission thinks on that.
I'm going to defer to you on that. I just, I will say, silt fencing definitely gets undermined often on a lot of sites I see. So I can definitely support an alternative there. But if you were to do both, still would be a need to bury the bottom of the silt fence and then probably back it up with the wattle and behind, I would think.
I mean, we're not talking about a lot of material here. that's maybe 50, 60 feet for those trees. And then down by that cherry tree, which I don't even think we're going to need it anymore because you're not doing any earth disturbance. So
Yeah, so maybe just where it's currently marked on the plan for the digging. So yeah, so then I guess I guess Kristen just came up with options there. 12 12-inch wattle or a 12-inch wattle or a smaller straw wattle with silt fence, or what was the other option you said?
compost filter tubes.
Compost filter tube.
And those are great because they're really, really, really heavy. Once they get wet, you can't move them. And they're filled with wood chips. So when you're done, you just take a box cutter and spread the wood chips on the site. So they're easy to decommission.
So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know cost of those, but if they're all similar costs, I guess we'll do whichever one you recommend. We'll go with.
Can we say erosion control as discussed in the commission meeting or something like that and leave it up to the applicant?
yeah, I think we could like give those options and then just say one of those options. And then if you guys want to, do a price comparison and things like that.
Okay.
That would probably make it the most the easiest to for you to choose.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. Do any of the commissioners have any other questions or comments about anything else?
Just want to point out, I wasn't paying attention. There's also that erosion control on the west side of the site. And I think whatever the applicant wants to go with in terms of cost benefit analysis, I would like to see for all of the displayed erosion controls, if that's amenable to all here.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess I thought that's what we were saying to begin with.
Yeah, that's what we talked last time. Can you just say again? You said that I saw on the house the well is going to be covered, I guess, or closed off. But then there is a town water line, but there is no sewer line. Correct.
There is neither at the moment. We need to run a new water line from the house to the road.
Okay. But there's a town water line to connect to, but there's no sewer line to connect to.
Correct. Yes, correct. We wish there was a sewer there. We'd connect in a second.
Okay.
Oh, I'm back. Could you guys hear me? Well,
no.
Did I disappear? I don't even know what happened. My computer just went off. Like it didn't go completely off, but everything was gone. I don't know what happened. I thought maybe the meeting had been ended for some.
Not our night for technology.
Yeah, I know everybody.
Most aren't, but
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I guess a question for applicant and the commissioners. In the minutes, there was something about related to that, bringing the water in, something about boring.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're going to bore under the little stream in front. That way nothing's disturbed for wetlands, for the water line.
Okay.
JSRA would probably end up doing the boring for that.
That's right. Thanks for reminding us about that, Fletcher. So did you figure out where you're going to be putting the spoils for that? Because that can sometimes be pretty soupy. And if it's really well contained, I don't think it was identified on the plans before, right? Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah.
I forget, but can you refresh our memories on that?
I was just going to go by JSRA's expertise on digging a big enough hole for the spoils to contain it all. I called them. They finally touched them last week, and they said, "Yep, we'll do it. Just give us a call once the meeting's over and everything's approved, and we can come give you a real quote and get it done for you."
Okay, so the plan is to keep all that on site then?
Yes. Yep.
And that'll be like they'll trench it. I guess I don't know the process really, but is it, are they boring through bedrock? Are they trenching and then covering, or how does that work?
We're going to trench from the house as close as we can to the wetlands. Then at that point, we're going to, from that point, bore underneath the stream.
Okay.
Boring's gets quite expensive.
Yeah.
For going whole distance.
Got it.
I think that's going to maybe need a more detailed, like, erosion control plan than just saying loosely that you'll put up. I mean, I don't even know where it is, right?
It's the W, I think there. You can see that. Is
that okay.
Correct?
So
or...
where is the spoil pile though? Right at the 25-foot line? Or inside the 25-foot line?
It's not marked in the map.
When you know that, would you be able to share that with the commission?
We could, yeah.
So that could be maybe a special condition. Do you know the distance that you're going to be boring? The total linear distance?
I don't know the total distance. No. They were going to let me know on that one. I don't know.
So they'll probably also know the volume roughly at that point as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do it every day, all the time. So I'm hoping they know everything about it.
Yeah, I mean, you could just let them know that we're just curious the location of the removed material, and obviously we're just interested in keeping it as removed from the wetland as possible without possibility of it running back in.
Okay. Yeah.
And protected with some kind of erosion control, because if you're just imagine you're drilling under a wetland, those soils are going to be pretty soupy, and then all that displaced volume is coming back out in the slurry pile and it migrates. It's wet. It can get pretty messy.
Yeah, so we can put a silt fence, or not silt, the straw fence right in front of it, if you like, the whole area.
That might be a good opportunity for silt fence and straw wattles or Filtrex sock. Because that's all. I don't know your cubic volume, but I have a feeling that's going to be a lot of cubic volume, and outside the 25-foot would be preferable, and just surrounded with some adequate erosion control, as we previously discussed, would be great.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Do the commissioners know if we have jurisdiction somehow past that boring to the trenching? Because it doesn't seem like it, given the septic situation, although maybe, I don't know, was that discussed at all? Or
Sorry, can you, I'm not sure what you mean past the
Oh, well,
The
as
trenching.
far as I'm visualizing it, they're boring under the wetland and then trenching along the W line to the house, which would mean material removed and a pipe put in and then backfilled as much as possible. And I just know that we didn't really discuss that, and it seems like that would be something we'd want to have be subject to erosion controls as well. But I didn't know, since it's only in the 200-foot riverfront area past the boring, it seems, whether that's something that we would have jurisdiction over in this case to discuss, or if it's not, because it's sort of part of the, not really part of the septic. So I guess we would.
Yeah,
Very clear.
I'm pretty sure we would, because if you look there, so there are wetlands to the east, but the wetlands kind of wrap all the way around this project.
Yeah.
And so the dark line is 25 feet. This is 50 feet. Like 100 would be about where the house is. So everything would be within the 100-foot wetland buffer.
Yeah, so
And it's
just,
all riverfront still, which is
And it's all riverfront too.
area.
yeah, I think, just the same concern as the other stuff, just good erosion control around the stockpiles, assuming they exist for more than a day, would be a thing we definitely want to see, I think.
Yeah, so we'll definitely put those up on around it for the boring.
Great. But also for the trenching, or?
The trenching, if you'd like it to be there,
I think it's more, not necessarily like along the trench is not what I'm picturing anyway, but commissioners feel free to correct me, but just as they stockpile the fill that they take out.
Yep.
If we could keep it around that, I think that would be ideal, unless, I don't know if it's a one-day operation or not.
definitely one day. Yeah, one day in and out. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we could, if it's not in our boilerplate, add a special condition anytime there's stockpile materials for over one day or something, over 24-hour period, then it would be stabilized with blah blah blah. Or I don't know what our standard template is for that, but would that work? Does that address what you were saying, Fletcher?
Oh yeah, I just think just more erosion control around any piles.
Yeah, so that, we could have a condition, like Kristen said, erosion control around any stockpile that's around for more than one day. And then if it's done in all one day, then you don't have to worry about the erosion control.
I would just, I assume you guys are talking about for this specific project only, but I'd just be concerned if it was sort of precipitating on the day. We'd want it on that day as well during the work. But so that's why I just hesitate to do the 24-hour thing, even though I suggested it. But
That's a good point.
maybe. So I mean, I'm personally comfortable with even going into that detail. Where is it if there is precipitation or something, that it would be you do it during it, but if not, I mean, it does seem sort of silly to have a fence up if you're just going to remove it on a dry day and put it back in. But maybe we can craft it so that it covers both. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I defer a little bit to Kristen because I'm not quite sure, but I mean, it depends on how wet it is. Even when you take it out, like it's there for 10 hours, is it going to, even just that amount of time, will it leach back into the wetlands?
Like
if there's no control around it.
More like the boring, the material that's removed for the boring.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think that's more the wet, like.
Wet than the trench part. Okay.
Yeah. I guess question for commissioners, are we still comfortable with all this being special conditions if we get to that point and it's going to be a negative determination or whatever? Or is this, does this change sort of that direction?
I think it works for me.
And
Sorry,
I
Erica.
think as long as we're clear what we're asking for.
Yeah. I'll read what we have so far. So one would be leaving a 6-foot stump for the cherry tree. And then 3 options for erosion control, 12-inch wattle or compost filter tubes, or a smaller straw wattle with a silt fence. And then 3 would be a pre-construction, well, a pre-boring requirement that we would need to approve the location of the spoil pile before boring begins. So, get a map that shows that. And then the spoil pile should be outside the 25-foot no disturb zone. And then finally, erosion control around any stockpile there for more than 1 day, unless there's precipitation, then erosion control must be around any stockpile.
Sounds comprehensive to me.
I like it. Do we want to just, not to make it more complicated, but around this, when you had, I think it was for the stockpile of the boring material, that it will be adequately stabilized with erosion control or something like that?
So on that last one,
The
where
one
I
before
said,
the last one.
Second to last.
the one before that, I said, yeah, that one, it just said I need to add erosion control for that. So really, for the spoil pile from the boring, we want to see a map that has the location of the spoil pile outside the 25-foot no disturb zone and the location of erosion controls around that pile. Correct?
Yeah, just marked on this plan or anything that
Yeah.
gets the location across to us.
How does all that sound to you guys?
That sounds good.
How does that sound to the applicants? Does that seem doable?
Yeah, that works. Yes.
Okay. Are the commissioners ready to make a motion?
Yeah, motion for a negative determination. Oh, no, wait.
Sorry, before you do
Yeah.
that, I'll just let you know that I think the option you're probably going to want is negative determination type 3, which it says the work is within the buffer zone, but will not alter an area subject to protection under the Act. Therefore, it does not require a notice of intent, but it's subject to the following special conditions.
Got it.
So that's a type 3.
So make a motion to issue a negative determination under type 3, being in the resource area but not impacting the resources. Is that the?
Yeah, so it doesn't
Rest of it?
require a notice of intent.
Okay. For 193 Barton Road, given the special conditions as discussed here, and including being sent location of spoil pile for the boring, along with adequate erosion controls to be marked on a plan or a map.
Okay. Do we have a second for
Second.
that motion? All right.
Second.
Seconded by Erica. Any further discussion among commissioners? Actually, I just realized that Fletcher, were you here for the last?
No,
for
not
on the last meeting.
I might have caught the end of it, but I wasn't here for the bulk of it. Does that affect today though?
Yeah, well, there's a sorry to get really technical, but I think if you're see, the thing is, I'm not sure if it matters for a public meeting or only for public hearings.
Mm-hmm.
It might only be public hearings that if you're not there for the entire hearing, then you can't vote on it. But I think public meetings you can, and you read the minutes, so
good.
I think we can go ahead.
Okay, I mean, if we want to be safe and just have another commissioner make them, well, does that stop me from making the motion or just voting?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, but I'm happy to go with it if because we have a quorum even without me, so
yeah.
As long as everybody's on board.
Okay. All right. So there was a motion made by Fletcher and Erica seconded. Any further discussion? I don't hear any. All right. So we can vote on that. Anyone against the motion? Anyone abstaining? All right, that passes unanimously with the 4 votes that we have here tonight. So thank you guys for coming back again. So I guess Eric will probably be in touch with like the actual paperwork that you need and explain further what needs to be done. But basically, the one thing that we need to see before the boring, at least, is that map showing the spoil location and erosion control.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
if you picked your favorite, let us know what it is out of curiosity for the erosion control.
Okay.
That's optional, but yeah,
it's definitely optional.
Not a requirement. Okay. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So next on our agenda is enforcement updates and other business. I need to go to my email because I did get an email from Eric with some updates. Let's see. Okay, so enforcement updates. Just looking to see if this is in the same order as what's in the agenda. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, enforcement updates. 21 Spring Terrace, map 65-9, unauthorized construction within riverfront. Eric said, I would like to remove this from the list of enforcement actions as the work has already been done in an area that is an existing lawn. I need to find out how to close out an enforcement action, so I will be contacting Mark Stinson. One thing I'm wondering about that is, what I remember is that they were supposed to be planting something at the end of the driveway. and
Mm.
I'm not sure that ever actually happened.
I remember that. She wanted to plant roses or something, and
Yeah, that's fine.
we said,
Yeah,
I remember
no,
that.
native stuff.
yeah. And I think
Mhm.
Hannah was trying to get in touch with them. What I remember is she was trying to get in touch with them and couldn't get in touch with them to like see if that had actually happened. So I feel like before that's closed out, we need to like that was the
Yeah.
requested mitigation was having those plants planted.
Right.
Was there a letter issued? Do we have a copy of that letter? I thought there was, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it might be. Let me look in projects and properties. 21 Spring Terrace. Oh, this was almost a year ago. Okay, there was the enforcement notice letter, and then oh yeah. The the only thing it's probably in meeting minutes somewhere
Oh.
what we asked them because the only document we have is the letter that was sent to them initially. And then their trench permit. Other than that, it's just photos.
Hmm.
So we'd probably have to go back to old meeting minutes where we like talked about the enforcement action.
Okay.
So that was, I mean, that was January. So it was
Mhm.
probably shortly after that. That was January 22nd. So we might have to look into that later, but Eric will be listening to this. Maybe he can find that. All right, let me go back. So the next enforcement update, 286 Plain Road. No update on that one. 637 Colerain Road, unauthorized filling of wetlands. Eric said Mass DEP is aware of the violation that has occurred at this property. They have elected to take no action. We, as a small city with limited staff, will also be taking no action on this.
Clear?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which property that is because
Yeah, I don't.
so long ago.
Yeah. Is that the farm or not? Not the farm.
637 Colerain Road.
Or is that the place that had the knotweed in the back?
I don't see this in our list of projects.
You know, what'd be awesome is going forward if there was like a, maybe not, but I'm just thinking if there was like a start date or like date of first port or something next to these items, it would just kind of help our brains, I think, go back to the regular.
Yeah.
That's near the
Okay.
meadows. I don't know if anyone knows if that's jogging anything.
So this was February 2020.
So was that the same time as the Spring Terrace? Because there's one along with Spring Terrace? Wasn't there one at the same time almost?
Oh, actually, this is even old. This is older than that. There's a letter, May 30th, 2019, a letter to them that says that the Conservation Commission is aware of activities on the property. Approximately 23,000 square feet of unauthorized fill has been placed into jurisdictional wetland resource areas associated with Allen Brook.
Which is a cold water fisheries habitat.
Yeah.
Was that the fill from where that was the fill from the school, wasn't it?
Oh, was this the whole
Is that the wrong
asbestos
place?
potential or no? Thought that was
Is that the
old.
same? I don't know. Is that the same place?
I'm
We were talking
not.
about that one. That was the one that has the fill that has the asbestos in it. We were
Yeah,
concerned about.
I thought that was going much further back than 2019.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Like I feel like when I started, it was already being talked
That was
about.
already in progress.
I think
Hmm.
so.
That might be Plain Road.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was the update that we got from Eric. That Mass DEP is aware and didn't take any action, and we will also not be taking any action.
Does look like ag land, so maybe
Yeah.
it's like just skirting under the exemptions.
This leads into the next enforcement update, which is 8 Conway Drive, unauthorized fill of riverfront area. Eric said Mass DEP is aware of the violations that has occurred at this property. They have elected to take no action. We, as a small city with limited staff, will also be taking no action on this.
About anything going forward with that one though, because he keeps, I think that was initially filed for something, and then he built that concrete retaining wall, and then since then, and he keeps doing stuff. So what are we doing going forward with them?
Yeah, I think that's the one where we had talked about the potential of like suing, I think. And yeah, we haven't done that because it would be cost prohibitive, I guess.
Mm. No, I just didn't know if are we keeping track of his ongoing violations or just letting it all go? Everything he's exempt from everything or whatever.
We're fine to check in on now and then, even if we're not bringing specific
Yeah.
actions against them.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe when we get a new conservation agent, I can swing by every few months or something. Check it out.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last enforcement update is Bears Den Road / Highland Park erosion and sedimentation of wetland areas. Eric said, I would like to remove this from the list of enforcement actions as it is not clear who the enforcement action would be against.
I think was this like really an enforcement action, or was it more of a concerned citizen discussing a scenario that we haven't really had a chance to do a site visit on?
No, that was the right builders who let the erosion controls failed or whatever and stuff. Everything went to the, but then the town took over the mediation or whatever.
Oh.
Because I don't know. Because right builders complained to them. So I don't see it. Yeah. So I think that was a discussion then. Was who are we trying to enforce?
Erica, was there a sense that it was remediated by Greenfield or no?
I haven't been there. I haven't been there to see it, whether or not it actually got done completely.
Do you have a do you know how to describe the specific area where it was? Or is it described in the?
It was right by the parking lot, right where the drain was. That just all this dirt and stuff was swept into it. It was one of those times we had one of those huge rainstorms, and they had stockpiled, and everything just was swept down into it. So they did start to do some of it, but then they didn't agree with our plan or whatever, and so that they turned it over to the town. Got the town to take it over.
Interesting.
There's still material in wetlands that was never cleaned up?
Like I said, I haven't been there recently to see. Yeah, I'm not sure
Hmm.
if it was ever really completely cleaned up or not.
And I know there's still erosion controls like around the parking lot area.
Hmm.
That I mean have obviously failed. They're they're like years and years old
Right.
that no
They
one's
should
done
be
anything.
pulled. Yeah,
Yeah.
get
So
those out of there.
I think that's why we had it. I mean, this project was before I was on the commission, but what I remember was
Hmm.
that we had it on the enforcement updates because we had to figure out like how to like close this out and
Right.
wrap it up basically. And we hadn't done that yet.
Maybe,
So,
I mean, it sounds like we need a site visit if we want to learn
Mhm.
more about it. And then
Mhm.
maybe just an asterisk on this one that we want to do a site visit before taking out the list. Maybe.
Yeah, and like if there is erosion control that's not doing anything that's there, like can we get that removed so it's not just,
Yeah.
you know, breaking down and falling into the wetland?
Right.
Yeah, it's a migratory barrier for small ground dwelling animals,
Yeah.
Get it out of there. I like that plan.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So that was the last enforcement update. Then we have update on control of Temple Woods and Stone Ridge Lane parcel. Eric says a response from attorney Jesse W. Belcher Belcher Timmy maybe has been received and put on Google Drive for discussion. I don't know if anyone had a chance to read that or if anyone saw that.
No. Did you?
Reading it right
I
now.
I am the person who received it and sent it to Eric, so I did read it, but I can bring that up.
Getting there.
I guess it's under Temple Woods discussion. I'll just go ahead and. Oh. It looks like okay. There's no one else in the meeting who is not who's like on the phone or something for me to read this out loud. But so basically, what I remember, the important parts here is Temple Woods was deeded to the inhabitants of the town of Greenfield with a subsequent amendment, although the grantor maintains revisionary interest if certain conditions are not met. Um, oh yeah. Although the land is currently treated as owned by the mayor's office, the deed makes it clear that the property is owned by the city and administered by the mayor's office in its capacity as chief executive of the city. Allowing the Conservation Commission of the same city to administer and control the parcel would not trigger a change in ownership, as that would violate any terms of the current deed because the Conservation Commission is a part of the city. So that's in like the third paragraph of this, and that's essentially the answer to our question, which was, are we supposed to be controlling this, or uh, what responsibility do we have? And it sounds like it's the mayor's office's responsibility to uphold the conservation requirements of the deed. So I actually sent a follow-up. This was forwarded to me by the mayor, and I responded to her email and asked, and I said that it sounds like if people come to us with concerns about um, things happening on Templewood's property, that we should forward those or have them go to the mayor's office instead, and asked if that was the mayor's understanding as well. And I have not received a response to that email. But that seems to be pretty clear from this.
Yeah.
The mayor is the one administering it, the mayor's office.
Yeah, I wish they had. Oh, is there anything in the rest of the letter that describes how it could be put specifically under the care of the commission, since it doesn't sound like that's against any rules, or
Yeah, basically the rest of it is just, transferring authority and control would require the majority
see.
vote of city council. Basically the same thing we've talked about with like the Stone Ridge Lane. Most of this letter seems to go into details about how to transfer it, and when that wasn't really the question. The question was, do we control it already? Or, are we supposed to be enforcing these things or not?
right?
One thing that the mayor did ask me to note was that that the restrictions in the deed would still apply even if the Conservation Commission had control of it. And it says, going forward, it may be worthwhile to consider making changes to the Conservation Commission ordinances to ensure that there are no conflicts with the deed restrictions. Currently, there are a few differences between the deed restrictions and ordinances. Compare the definition of passive recreation in Ordinance 322.1 to the definition of passive recreational use in the deed. However, the ordinances can be amended over time, and future commissions may unwittingly apply the ordinances in violation of the deed restrictions. A new section of the ordinance that explicitly grants the Conservation Commission the authority to enforce deed restrictions on any land under its control may be advisable to keep things clear. So that was a suggestion. It sounded like the mayor asked me to note that specific part about the ordinance. So I guess once we finally get around to our ordinance review that we've been planning on doing for like 2 years now, maybe that can be a part of it. I mean, I don't see why. It seems like we could do that already. Maybe it just isn't explicit that, I mean, it seems like if we had custody and control of a property that has certain conservation restrictions, like obviously it's on us to enforce those, like we do already, like the Westwood, is that what it's called? Westwood Wildlife Preserve or whatever, that has like specific requirements in the deed, and so does Miller's Meadow, the old Wedgwood Gardens. That one has a lot of specific requirements. So I don't think it would be anything new for us to have control of property that has specific requirements. But yeah. So that's all I've got on that.
Did we want to make a note of that in our ordinance review folder? Or
yeah,
think of how to word it, but
I'll send an email to Eric just like specifically calling that out, or if do we have a document for ordinance review? I don't remember what we had in there.
Anyway, I'll look for that, not to hold us up here.
Okay. I'm just writing this down as a note so I remember it. Okay, in the same email to the mayor, when I asked for this update, I asked about Stone Ridge Lane parcel too, and I did not receive any information about that.
How long has it been since we've received any updates on that? 10 weeks?
I would say whenever the auction was. Fletcher and I talked to the mayor there. That was the last we've heard, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I just thought we were waiting for, is this not an answer to questions posed during the same batch of questions for the attorney, or?
No, this was a different, this was before Stone Ridge Lane was ever on our radar.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I haven't
heard
heard any news on that, though.
So what we're looking for is a status update on this 13-acre conservation.
But on the, yeah, we want to know the attorney's answers to the mayor's questions and concerns about transferring, about putting this on city council's agenda.
Right, is it on the agenda? Is there a date scheduled? You know, just an update, I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's definitely not, but you know,
it's not okay.
we want to hear about the mayor's concerns and the answers to those concerns, so we can potentially get it on there, or you know, hear why we shouldn't. So
Should we? I mean, I can send another email or call the mayor's office again. Because this, when I got this update, it was like I sent an email with two things and one of them got answered. So if I'm sending an email about just one thing, you know, they either have to respond to that or not, I guess. But
yeah,
And can we follow up with the city council directly, or is this all in the mayor's hands?
it's all in the mayor's hands because the mayor has to be the one to ask city council to transfer the control to whoever.
or to put anything on the agenda about it.
Yeah. So it has to come from the mayor.
I don't think it'd be a bad idea to reach out to counselors if you know, we felt like we needed additional sort of opinions, I guess, or
Yeah, maybe copy
to
them.
inform them of specific conditions that have arisen since when the answers come back. But as of right now, I think we're still kind of just waiting for to hear about the responses from the attorney.
Yeah, because all we heard was that the mayor had some questions that needed to be answered first.
Right.
That was the extent of what we know. We don't know what the questions are.
Right.
So yeah, and I mean, I kind of feel like I feel a lot less time pressure now, you know, obviously, because like the city owns it and, you know, the city could own it like this indefinitely, but it doesn't have the protection that it would, you know, under our control or even under like the recreation department's control. Like,
Yeah, there's no
so,
protection. I mean, it's just
yeah, no
the
protection.
city
Like
owns it.
the city could sell it next week if they wanted to.
Right.
So, or the next mayor could say, oh, you know, so, yeah, so I kind of feel like that's, I mean, I have no idea what's going on at the mayor's office, but I kind of feel like that's probably how it is there. It's like, you know, it's not as urgent anymore.
Yeah.
So they can kind of take their time a bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, regarding your reaching out again, I don't, you know, given it's the holidays or Thanksgiving is coming
Yeah.
up, I could definitely see reaching out in the window between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but maybe not, you know, we could see kind of check in next meeting, or actually that would be kind of late in the game. Maybe, no, I mean, I guess we could just do that. It's the 14th. We could check in at that meeting and see if we've heard anything, and if not, reach out at that point, I guess.
I say squeaky wheel. Let's not let anyone forget that we care about this and keep pestering.
Yeah.
But are you comfortable waiting until the 14th?
Travis, are you sending the email?
I can, because I did send one before, and you know, I could just send it as like a follow up. Because I will say about the squeaky wheel thing, this letter that we got, the mayor received it on October 26th, and I received it like last week as a follow up to an email that I sent the week before that, and then I sent a reminder email after that one. So
a little bit of lag there, yeah.
Yeah, a little, and they were like, "Oh, you know, we got to send that to you."
Well,
So,
I mean, I'm happy to reach out as well after after Thanksgiving. But yeah, I think it's definitely coming up on time to ask again.
yeah. Yeah, I don't mind following up again. Yeah. Okay.
So before we move on, I'll just say I
Sure.
have the ordinance change document up.
Okay.
If you want to translate what we were just talking about as far as clarifying.
I'll read what it
Find
said
our
in
ordinance.
here. It said, a new section of the ordinance that explicitly grants the Conservation Commission the authority to enforce deed restrictions on any land under its control may be advisable.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next update that I have is some good news. Update on conservation agent position. Eric said, we have received about 40 applications for the 20-hour per week conservation agent position. This is a significant increase in applications over the 15-hour per week position. Eric will be starting his review of these applications. He said tomorrow. Yeah, he sent this today. So he will be beginning his review tomorrow, November 24th, with interviews hopefully occurring after the Thanksgiving holiday, but before the Christmas holiday. So that's good news.
Yeah.
And then the next update is trail maintenance at Griswold GTD Conservation Area. So Eric said the commission would need to take a vote to authorize the use of funds in the Griswold GTD Conservation account for trail maintenance. I will also say that I got a hold of Lincoln, who said he was going to be attending the meeting tonight, but I haven't seen him, so maybe next meeting. But I can read his email back to me. He said, at one point in time, when Bill Griswold was still active, he annually hired a local landscape contractor to patrol all of the trails with a tractor and chainsaw to mow the weeds and brush and clear away deadfall. The cost was paid for by the fund dedicated to Griswold GTD maintenance and replenished periodically by timber harvesting revenue. So it's great that you are thinking about how to address these issues again. I don't think it would be efficient for you to hire me to do any of the things you listed. It would be much cheaper to hire a local landscaper, especially if you can develop an ongoing relationship with them. One issue that is often neglected is trail drainage. We created those trails in the 1980s by hiring a bulldozer operator to smooth and shape harvest roads that had recently been used. He put in water bars to drain water off sloping areas of trails so that the trails did not become eroded and gullied. For the most part, those water bars are still working, but some have become blocked over time. I would certainly be interested in working with your contractor to identify those drainage structures and keep them operating properly. On my last visit to the property last summer, I felt like the educational trail with numbered stops and paper brochure guides that we installed years ago is now obsolete. It doesn't seem like anyone picks up those brochures, and the educational content could stand some updating. One thing I have been thinking of is to upgrade the numbered kiosks by using QR codes so that visitors can access educational information in picture or video format. I think we could get a grant from Mass Forest Stewardship to do something like that. So if you'd be interested in talking further about that idea, I would be willing. It may not make sense to make that conversation part of your maintenance work. And then he said that he would be happy to drop by our meeting tonight. But yeah, so I guess I will add one more thing, which is that in a totally unrelated thing, that is related actually. I did a public records request trying to find whether the what's it called? Bernardston Road. Wait, Bernardston Road? one of the conservation areas in Greenfield. Oh, I have to look at this again. Oh, Shelburne Road Conservation Land. If that had ever been transferred the control and custody to the Conservation Commission, I did an open records request about that, and I did not see that in any of the records that I got. But I did see where the commission had used the Griswold GTD funds for trail maintenance, and I believe that that has to be voted on by city council, is what it looked like in those documents, that we would have to vote to use those funds, and then that has to go to city council, and city council has to approve that too.
Just for trail maintenance on the area that the fund is for, or you're saying if we cross from one fund to another area?
No, it sounded like to use those funds.
Oh, wow.
Let me see if I have.
Really?
That's not the case for the general fund, right?
It's not the case for the Conservation Trust Fund, which can be used for any conservation purposes. But since we have funds specifically for those properties, I think it makes sense to use.
Right.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where I don't think they're gonna like not agree and like not do
Right.
it. You know, it's just like an extra hurdle that we have to jump through.
What funds have we used before to use Lincoln? Because haven't we had to pay him for some of his other services? I don't remember
Yeah.
going to council for it before. Did we use the general fund or?
That's a good question.
It seems like
Okay.
if the funds are for Griswold, we wouldn't have to ask to use them for Griswold.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
so I'll share two things here. This is from a meeting in 1989. City council voted that the town transfer 750 from the GTD reserve for appropriation account and numbers, and 750 from the Griswold Wildlife Reserve for appropriation account to the Conservation Commission to enable payment to the Merritt Tree Farm for partial completion of the grading, seeding, and trimming of ski trails on the GTD and Griswold conservation lands.
Mm.
That's what I saw, and I was like, oh, so that's the same thing we want to do, basically. And then also, when we first got, oh man, I'm trying to remember where this was. When we first got that, like account update, from Eric, it had some like handwritten notes. Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure on the side, there were some that said requires city council vote, and I think those were included. I can't find that document right now, but oh wait, financial information. Aha. Okay, let me share this. So this was that thing that we got. So there's GTD Griswold Bernardston Road Conservation Area. I'm pretty sure on the left, this is saying approved through council. I think that's what we agreed that was saying over there. Even though it's cut off. So I think we would vote on it, and then it would have to go to city council, and they would have to approve it too. But like we said earlier, the conservation trust that one does not have to be approved by council, but
I
that
agree,
one's kind
it
of,
seems backwards. It's like,
yeah, I think it's
Mm.
because the conservation trust it's a part of the act that created conservation commissions. Like it says that you can create a conservation trust that the conservation commission controls. And so I think these other ones are just more like general funds that the city has, and it's related to these properties, but city council, holds control of like the accounts. So I think it's more like we recommend, like we would like this to happen, and then city council has to make it happen. I think that's the difference. And like the wetlands conservation one, that one is another one that we can just use ourselves, but only for Wetlands Protection Act things. So anyway, that's my understanding. I'm not an expert in this, but I've been trying to dig, and that's what I found.
makes sense, sort of. I mean, it technically makes sense. So
All the pieces seem to fit. I'll say that
Yeah.
at least. Okay, so that was the last update that I had from Eric. Nothing under project monitoring and site visit scheduling at this time. Yeah.
I'll move to adjourn then.
second that.
All right. Motion to adjourn by Kristen, seconded by Fletcher. Any further discussion? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? All right, that passes unanimously with 4 votes.